Good morning. Man, it's nice out here, man. It's like in the upper 50s. And we got some low waters, rivers down pretty good amount right now. But we got semi-stained water. Supposed to be about maybe 3 or 4 foot of visibility, if we even have that. And I'm gonna throw top water off the bat. Imagine that. You ready to run a gun? It's time for blast off. Let's go. Hey guys, Todd here with you. Welcome back to Bassin 101. Just before sunrise, late September, water's cooling down a little bit. Still not very clear though. You know, down here on the lower end where we're near the dam, we're probably about a mile and a half from the dam, mile and a quarter. So the water, you know, we're still kind of back up a little bit, and the stain stays in here a little bit. And I figure, you know, 2.5, 3 foot of visibility. A lot of the bass this time of day could be suspended, you never know. So I got a Rebel Pop RP 71, new big ones. I can't remember the name of the color, it's the black one. And I tied my own hackle in the back with some chartreuse Flashaboo. I got this on a stout medium light with a really soft tip, 17-pound trilene, not trilene, the Trimax. I have this on here because it's kind of heavy, but it's more of a subtle pop-R. If you look at my pop-R videos, you'll see what I was talking about being subtle, but it's also black, something they can see. A little bit of that chartreuse in there. It's a very subtle bait, and you can sit there and walk the dog with it. You can make it boom, you know, if you really put something into it. But it's mostly just a very calm topwater bait. I'm fishing the slough today. It's something I can access quickly. It gives me deep water. And there's the other side of the channel here. I got shallower water with brush piles. So I'm just kind of going to go back and forth, get a few hours in this morning before I get my daily duties going on. And I figure it's Friday. Ain't nobody going to be out here. And I just try some top water and see what we can get with this thing. Let's see how the morning goes. I don't know if you can hear it in the audio, but there's a lot of turkeys on this side. It's not the train tracks over here. Can you hear them? It's a lot of hens. You hear this? Either there, somebody's really good with a box, you know, box and the stick. I remember those when I was a kid. I never fished, I never hunted for turkey, but I had some buddies that did. And it's really interesting the way they can make it walk and bark and everything. I've actually called turkey almost to the bank, because I can do a little, you know, I sit there and mess with them. And I've actually called gobblers almost to the water's edge, until a train comes by and scares them away. Can you hear them? Well, I ain't seen nothing, no activity at all this morning as far as anything busting, except for maybe a carp or two. Got nothing on that pop-R. And I threw it for probably a good 20 minutes to a half hour. On some good looking stuff too. All down logs, over trees. Nothing. So I brought about 4 rods with me today. I brought up all casting rods, the ones that I built. And I guess I'm gonna sit here and tie me up some stuff that I kind of want to stick with the rest of the morning. I don't want to sit there and keep switching back and forth. I do have I'll put a picture down here. Under my seat that I built in this canoe, I've got a shelf. And it's just the right size to put like a couple of 3600s in it. Yeah, I've got some of these old Plano 3215 models. Got a couple of those packed up. Not sure if that's going to be my final deal. And probably a spinnerbait box with some old bombers. I might throw some old bombers today in Strike Kings. All rubber skirts. I'm just a rubber skirt kind of guy. So let me get everything tied up here, and I'll be back after a word from our sponsors. Right. Okay, I've settled on 3 rods. Right now I'm tying on a black and blue tail culprit, 7.5 inch culprit. Remember I told you guys, rig it, tail going with the hook, so you don't twist your line. I got this on a 3/0 Eagle Claw, the old blue type hooks, and I don't want a real fast fall, so I actually have this on an 1/8 ounce tungsten weight. Didn't quite have that very straight. There we go. Now I'm not big on ribbon tails having a different color tail, but there's something about the culprit. It's just so much brighter, and I like that. I like the brightness of it. But there's your black and blue tail, little 3/0 JBL, I think it's called JBL hook, and the tail is going up with that. Now I like a 3/0 because it's short. It comes just in front of the egg sac. I get a lot more action out of that worm than having a big, big long hook. But that'll give me the, yeah, it's not a real fast. Usually 3/16 is what I use on here, but I really did want a slow fall because this water is pretty stained. Another one. Yeah, you guys ain't seen these in a long time. Some of you might even know these things. The old Bomber Bushwhacker. This is brand new out of the package from like the early 70s, man. I got a bunch of these. But only thing I've done is put a ball bearing swivel on it, and I polished these blades on my drill press at the shop and buffed them. So they're really, really shiny. Still nickel blades. This is chartreuse in red. And man, the skirt pulses with the blade. You just can't beat that kind of an action. You don't even need a trailer. These are the only spinner baits I use with a full-size trailer. The full 3-inch trailer is the Bombers. It's because they have longer hooks, and just that longer skirt just works better. Strike Kings, I like a 2.5 inch because that's what they originally come with. And then y'all ain't got a clue what this is, because you can't buy this in stores. You have to make them. But back in the 90s, I'm going to do an episode on this eventually, how to do these. But back in the 90s, Bill Dance, his was Strike King, he used to do this thing called the Thang. And if you've never heard of it, or don't know what it is, it's a lightning strike hook, and you take a skirt and put it in the front, and then you put your pork chunk in the back. It's called a Thang. He just makes it. I got a little different version of it. I don't like a silicone skirt on it. I think it hampers the action of the bait. So I have a 2.5 inch rubber skirt. A lot of these I make myself because I just want different colors. This is chartreuse. This is black and lime instead of black and chartreuse. And I've got a Zoom Pro Chunk on the back of it because I like that longer flow. In front of here, to give it a keel to keep it from twisting your line and everything, I got a 1/16 ounce lead weight here that I drilled a 1/16 inch hole in it and slid it up the weed guard and then glued it. Now you think 1/16 ounce, that's not very much. It falls faster than you think it does. This also casts better than you think it does. I actually have this on 14 pound XT on a casting rod. The spinning rod will work too. But I keep the skirt going with the hook. I don't have it back like this. I did try that. It didn't work. So just a slim profile. And I'll be honest with you, I kind of like that better than I do a regular jig, because this is something they don't see, and it falls let's see, 0, 1, maybe a foot per second. So it has a decent fall to it. Now, if the wind picked up, you might be out of luck. But I would not put an 1/8 ounce on here, because the 1/8 ounce, if you look at it real closely, see if I can get it where you can see it. I had to put a slight bend in the weed guard to get that thing to work. This is a 5/0 lightning strike hook, black nickel, but you can use Eagle Claws, Gamakatsus, Mustads, you know, whoever does stuff like that if you want to build one of these. But I'll do a show on how I make those. But I have actually gotten a few on this. I kept it a secret. So I'm floated about halfway down the slough here, so I actually have the brush pile directly behind me here, but I'm going to keep fishing this deeper water until I get down to the end of it here, which ain't too far away, maybe 100 yards, and then work my way back up. And I'm just going to stick with these 3 baits. I was going to put a black and blue spinner bait on there. I'm still debating, but I just want that bright red and chartreuse. Just see if that makes any difference. Because, you know, chartreuse and smallmouth, man. But I'm going to give these things a whirl. Put me some stinky stuff on here and see what we can do. Well, look what I got on the Thang. He was hooked in his lower jaw. Whoops. He was hooked in his lower jaw. Oh, come here, you little booger. He's not big, but he's a start. Very pale. Look at that. He was in that deep water. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, he's not big, but he's a start. I was just getting ready to reel that thing back in, and I had just picked it up to start to reel it. Bam! Yeah, this is not a fast presentation bait by any means. I mean, it's not your standard jig and pig. That's what I call them, jig and pig. But it's not your standard jig and pig type bait. It fishes just fine, but it's a very slow type of deal. Kind of like jig fishing is supposed to be. Kind of just kind of let it flow. Just kind of do its little thing. Like I said, it falls about a foot per second. And yeah, you kind of like that black and lime. It's hard to find a black and lime jig anywhere. You can't even find black and lime skirts. I had to take this one apart. And I've done this on 14-pound test. It's good. Give it some lines so it can sink. But yeah, it's I have to do a show on how to modify flat rubber skirts too, because you can make any kind of color you want, just as long as you're careful with them, don't tear them up. But I got a box at the house. It's just all rubber skirts, and there's a section in there of parts of skirts where I've separated skirts to get different colors. Yeah, that's a good little start there on a Thang. Look at here, guys. That's a tournament fish right there. And he's got that dude. There we go. The Thang. That's a fat largemouth right there. Thank you, buddy. And thank you, Bill Dance, for showing me the Thang. I got so many. Gosh, I don't know how many shows I've got. But I know I've got, I had them on VHS. I burned them over to DVD a long time ago. But I bet you I probably got 48 or 50 volumes of Bill Dance. Roughly about, I think, 6 episodes per CD or DVD. Starting from the late 80s and then going through the 90s to about 2007. And I'll be honest with you, I quit recording at 2007 because it was basically the same shows over and over and over. I mean, I was talking the shows while the shows were being aired because I knew what he was going to say next. So I just quit recording them. But and even his shows today, I watch them and I'm telling you what he's going to say ahead of time because I already know. But hey, not everybody sees all the shows, right? So that's a black and lime Thang. I got a bunch of hits before I got that one dude. I just couldn't get a hook in them. I got a hook in that one. But this is a medium light 6'10" with 14-pound XT, and I can throw that out there. If you wanted to get a little more weight out of it, let me get this in and show you. If you do want to try to get a little bit more weight, you can probably put a head of this and peg it like another 1/16 or even an 1/8 ounce below. I wouldn't go any heavier than that, because you want this 1/16 to work as a keel. You don't want this lure doing this in the water. You want it to stay straight in the water, just like a jig would. That's why I put that keel on there. Bill didn't do that in the shows. And I tell you what, a couple times he did a show on those things. I actually did a few shows on them, but you can just see the line twist in his line. He never mentioned that. But that chartreuse, I mean, that black and lime color, you know, it's just something different. I got black and chartreuse too, but I stick with dark colors. It's a rubber skirt, so you just stick with dark colors, browns and blacks. I've got just a handful of colors of trailers I use, but I use the same Pro Chunk on all of them. And I'm sorry, it's discontinued. But that seems to be the best kind of trailer for this rig. You don't want a lot of action, and you don't want an action tail in this thing. You probably could, but keep it real thin, like maybe like a Yamamoto or something like that. But I'm almost to the end of the slough here. About ready to turn my way back around. I think when I do, squirrel fishing. There we go. I think when I do, I'm gonna throw that spinnerbait. But there we go. That's a good shot. Keep on going. Look at here. Took my skirt. Took my little. I had this thing super glued on here so it would stay, you know, one angle. He gapped and swallowed my thing, but didn't take the hook. That's okay. We'll do that again, won't we? Alright, well, I'm heading across the channel here over to the brush piles. I've shown you all these before. And I put everything up, man. I really have. I put everything up. I'm sticking with that Thang. But it's getting brighter out here. It's almost 9 o'clock. As you know, I'm going to be fishing some of the sunny side, some of the shady side. So I switched to a black and blue skirt in that thing instead of the black and lime. Same setup, same 1/16 ounce, all that stuff. Same trailer even. I just switched it over to a different thing. And the other cool thing about, you know, when you're fishing the thing like that, I didn't even think about this just now, but I already had a black and blue rigged up. But you can keep spare skirts. Like I got spare skirts in here. And if you think you need to change colors, slip that trailer off, slip that skirt off, because it's not hard to do. And just put a different color on there. That way you can still leave the same hook, everything rigged up. Well, it's got me a red eye. Up. Hang on. Chill. He's gonna stick me is what he's gonna do. There you go. Yeah, he was in the brush pile. Not quite the fish we were after, but it was still fun to hook anyway. I mean, you learn from setting the hook from everything, man. Doesn't matter what kind of fish it is. That was still fun. Okay, I'm getting just a little bit of wind out here, not much. So I'm doing what I told you guys that you can do. I've got a 32nd ounce tungsten bullet weight. See the difference in size between a regular lead weight, 16th ounce? But it's pegged with rubber band. And this gives me just a little bit more fall out of it. It falls about, because you have to remember there's no interference with the skirt because it's all streamlined. I would say it falls about like maybe a standard 3/16 or even a 1/4 ounce jig. Maybe not quite a 1/4 ounce jig, but it falls just a little bit faster than it did, so it allows me to stay in contact with it a little bit better, especially with this heavier line. I kind of meant this to be fish on a spinning rod, but I've been fishing around this brush. I ain't had nothing but that red eye, so I'm going back over here to the deep water, just cross channel from the slough. It's like a 50-foot paddle. It's not much at all, and we'll see where we go here in this deeper water. Okay, scratch the added weight. I went back to the original setup. I went to pull it up after about 3 or 4 casts. Went to pull it to make another cast. I saw a line twist. You guys know me. I will not tolerate line twist. So I'll just go back to the original setup, which has been working anyway. I was just trying to see what would happen if you did add a weight to it, because I really hadn't tried it before. Don't do it. Well, yeah, looks like I might call it. I got a few hours in this morning. I got to head back and get some stuff done at the house. But yeah, I didn't do nothing else on this thing. Thang. I want to give y'all a shot of this thing in the water so you can kind of get an idea of it, really just how it flows in the water. I mean, it really does look good. Let's see if I can do that. See how that weight acts like a keel? And it keeps that thing straight, so it don't mess you up. It's got a really nice flow to it. Yeah, I really like that. Yeah, kind of messed up looking because I'm right here in the current of the creek, and this thing would definitely do a lot better if I was going with, with a gradual current. But it's a good little bait. I'd have to play with this thing some more. I fished with it off and on the last couple of years, just playing with it, and really hadn't thought about even mentioning it, but I got to thinking, it's like, well, yeah, I might do that today. That's all I have, guys. Hey, we got a few anyway, right? At least we got one good one. But it's been kind of a slow morning. That's about a 3-hour run. That's kind of fun, though. But at least you got a sneak peek at a future video of the Thang. But I don't know when I'll do it, but I'll do it. So that's all I got, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's short little segment. But until next time, may the Father bless you and keep you in Yeshua's name, and as always, fish on.